All right, we are live. Who else do you know is going to be working on building a product on a Saturday evening at 7:45? This guy. I was doing it last night at 9:30. I started playing video games with my friends, and I had my laptop down here working on my code while we were playing games on the big screen. I eventually had to shut the laptop so I could focus and be of somewhat use to my teammates. So okay, we are we are wrapping up what I believe to be the MVP. MVP, you should be kind of embarrassed to release it, and I think I'm at that point. So I'm at the last like safety check feature that I want to add, and that is making sure that any user generated content, the images that people upload, and the freeform text that they put in as a part of reviews or descriptions, that's all like sanitized. Given that this is targeted at families, the last thing that we need is for people to pop open a review for some location and there's photos that shouldn't be there. So yeah, got to address that. We are starting with a more simple approach of just working with the text right now, making sure we reject any text that has any words that shouldn't be in it. So that's what we're working on right now. Claude has done a little bit of research. It's put a plan together that I got to review, and then we'll take a look at that. After that, we are going to continue to lean on Cloudinary, which is our image storage and serving service that has integrations with a few AI tools that can, in 1 to 2 seconds, evaluate that image and return whether you should be displaying it on your app or not. So we need to bake that in. We've got a plan built out for that. We've done a bunch of research, and I've got a GitHub issue created that has a bunch of the details behind it that we'll be able to lean on as we go and make that happen. So, all right, let's take a look at what is happening here. So Claude has a plan. I don't, I actually want to just reject. I would prefer that we reject any content that we deem that fails our is content clean method. Is content clean method, rather than replace words with other characters. Please update the plan to use this approach. Okay. Yeah, so most of the profanity checks and things like that have built-in filters where it just replaces the word with asterisks or random text or whatever is appropriate there. I actually just want to reject it. Say like, hey, sorry, you can't post content like that, rather than still there like the message is there. So let's just keep it completely out. So let's see what it says. Yep. Moderate string. Okay. favorite. Okay. Location names, review titles, review content, location descriptions. Captions, yes. 180 notes, yes. Yes. Post validation, these endpoints, yes. Instant feedback. Right. Okay. Okay, so this all looks good. So we're going to let it go. So we're going to let Claude Code do its thing, happy with the plan. And it is going to be off and running now, which is, I've gotten to a point where I can refine the plan with Claude well enough that I really am at a point where I'm comfortable. Once we agree on how we're going to attack something, just let it go. And that's been working really well. The next piece of backup that I have is I do have a 3-headed monster of code reviews. Actually, a 4-headed monster because we include myself. So Claude Code does a review in GitHub. Copilot does a review in GitHub as well. CodeRabbit does a review in GitHub as well, and so do I. Then to summarize that, one of the best things that I do is I have Claude Code then inspect all of the PR comments from all of those different sets of eyeballs and minds and say, list them all out, tell us which ones we need to address now, which ones we don't really care about, and which ones we should address, but we're not going to address right now. So just create a GitHub issue for us to tackle in the future and maintain the context of that moment. So that way, when it's time to pick that work up, we have everything we need to go and make it a reality. So allowing Claude Code to evaluate all of the PR comments and again, build a plan for how we're going to respond. I make sure I tell it that you have to have a plan for every comment. And that plan can be, we're not going to do anything about it, but at least let's address all of it and say, here's what we're going to do. The key aspect, the sneaky point that really helps is if we're going to worry about it, but not right now, we'll create a GitHub issue for it so that in a week or two, when we do decide to go pick it up, we maintain the context and Claude Code can create the context that it needs so that a week from now, it's easy. I can just point at a GitHub issue and say, go attack that, build a plan. It does a really good job whenever we work like that. Cool. All right, we're making good progress here. I still have found that I have to be very heavy-handed with Claude to make sure that I tell it every time, refer to the patterns and practices that we have defined in your claude.md file, and make sure that any plan you build aligns with those patterns and practices. I have to do that every time. Ooh, test the moderation. It's writing tests to detect offensive content. These tests should be fun. Oh man. These are the kind of tests that your team gets excited about writing. You know, there's a lot of times when your team is writing unit tests is like, oh, this is a pain in the neck. But the team that gets the content moderation work, that gets to write the tests that are going to return is content clean false, they're going to have a fun time with that. So that's best. That is definitely something that I would make sure the team does versus not letting the team do it. You can have AI do that. Now AI is my team. So, hey Matthew, welcome. So why was the recommendation great? Aside from the fact that you landed here, like, yeah, that's good. But how can I, what are you looking for that makes this a great fit? Yeah, so if you just joined us, we defined a bunch of work. We asked Claude Code to build out a plan for how we're going to solve content moderation. And by content moderation, I mean all of the freeform text that users can enter within my app across the various places, making sure it's clean because this product I'm building is targeted at families. So, you know, it's probably worthwhile to do a little, hey, should this be seen by kids? Check. Oh, look at it go. This is bullshit. That's the best it can come up. See, this is why these unit tests were made for your team to work on it. AI played it safe with the not clean text. A good team would have a lot of fun with that. But that's okay. That's okay. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to prove out, can I build a production grade product with AI and AI only? So far, yes, we're making progress. All right, what do we have going on here? Let's see. Oh, it's adding the comment. Okay. Yep. 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 Error messaging. All right. So the key. All right. So API is returning an updated response. So that's good. All right. So it's claiming victory. Let's see. Let's make sure it did all the things. So npm run format. That makes sure prettier does all the things. Npm run lint. I still manually check everything, even though it says it does it. I take the 30 seconds it takes for me to run my formatter, my linter, my tester, type checker. I still do all of that stuff. npm run test. Tests are passing. npm run type check. Okay, good. So that all worked. All right, let's test it out. Let's see what happens. I'm a little concerned at how we're handling this on the front end. Yeah, we're not. We have the check in the schema. So that's okay. That's okay. Let's at least see what it looks like in the front end. npm run dev. Okay. So we'll take a look at this McDonald's. I don't think I can write a review. This place is shitty. What the hell? The hell? Submit review. Invalid review data. Okay. So we're handling it not as gracefully as I would like. but it's working. So let's go take a look at what we're, all right. So we are getting the 400 back here, which is what we're expecting. So that's right. So here is a key thing that I've learned. Historically, what I would do is I'd say, oh, that's not exactly right. Man, I wish we handled the front end a little bit better. I wish we did a better job of handling those messages and displaying it, updating the user. So what I tend to do historically is layer that on top of what I'm already asking Claude to do. That's where I've gotten myself into trouble. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, this looks good. Do two things. One, create a branch, PR, get that party started, but also using the context that you have, create a story for us to improve the user experience when we have is clean content equals false. So that way we maintain focus, we maintain a tight context level on what we're asking Claude to do. Normally, when you're working with yourself or your team, again, humans can manage that context. Humans can do a good enough job of managing that, compartmentalizing it, putting it over there, coming back to it. AI is not there yet. So just recognize, yes, there's a thing that we want to do, create an issue, tackle it later. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay. So I'm going to turn off, we're not going to go into plan mode, but I still do just want to check everything. So this all looks pretty good. Create a branch and PR for this work. Include the context in the commit message and PR summary so that reviewers can be effective. Also, create a GitHub issue to improve how we handle these errors in the UI. Include any helpful context so that we can easily pick this work up later. Okay. So that's tight enough context that I feel okay asking it to do those two things. Yeah. Okay. Road Trip Ninja. Yep, that is the name of my app. I've had this idea in my brain for nigh on a decade. Okay. That all looks good. Oh, well. You have a failure. Failing test. No, I just didn't like content. Okay. Yeah, so our pre-commit hooks had an issue there. But I think it was just the format of our commit message wasn't healthy. Okay, so now PR is going to get created, and this is where our three-headed monster kicks in, where we will get Claude, Claude, Copilot, and CodeRabbit all kicking off. Hello there, Plague of Mercy on Twitch. Welcome. All these people, Saturday night coding. That's exactly what you were looking for. Yeah, let's watch a dude write some code. Let's watch a dude watch an AI write some code. Ooh. All right, I'm going to review this PR message real quick just to make sure it's covers all the things. All right, so now we'll have it create the GitHub issue. We'll pop this open in a window. Thank you for the follow there, Goofball Guinness. Welcome aboard. Yeah, Saturday night code, baby. I was doing it Friday night too. Like I said, I don't know if you caught it. Last night I was hopping on to play some games with my friends at 9:30, and I've got a larger screen here in front of me than I had my laptop, and I had a controller in hand trying to play and working on trying to finish up a feature, and they were giving me a hard time because it was 9:30 on a Friday night, and I was writing code. So that's what I do. That's okay. It makes me happy. You know, there are some people that do woodworking. Most people my age get to be about 50, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to get into woodworking. That's not me. This is the woodworking that I do. This is the craft that I enjoy. This is the thing that I have fun doing. So, okay, we have a PR created here in GitHub. So that means off and running. CodeRabbit, as you can see, is doing its thing. Claude has a review in process, and Copilot's always the fastest. Decide what that means to you, but Copilot is always done first, and it's usually decent. So like it's not been a waste of time. There have been a handful of suggestions that I just commit right away. Okay. Yeah, that's a reasonable. So it's suggesting bake this all into a single method. The only thing that gets a little bit wonky is that you then have to have parameters to handle the min and the max length, various things like that. So I'm actually not going to do that right now. But again, what I like to do is I like to, after the 3 reviews are done by Claude, CodeRabbit, and GitHub, I then ask Claude Code, okay, go through all the comments, build a plan for, should we address these? If we should, how are we going to do it? And if we're not going to, is it, no, we don't really need to worry about this ever? Or yes, we are going to worry about it, but not right now. So then create a GitHub issue for us to go tackle that. So, and we wait for our bros get all their reviews done. Okay, so Claude, this looks like Claude. Yes, Claude always loves its work. Claude is always very, very quick to tell you that it's done a good job. And actually it does. I've kind of trained it over time in how to make that happen. But Claude loves its work. All right, so minor improvements here. Profanity sensitivity if needed. Yeah, I don't want to tell them. Yeah. So these are just it. So we can keep this in our pocket for later that if we need to adjust the sensitivity up or down, we can tweak that. What I don't want to do is I don't want to be displaying profane language in our app at all. So if somebody types it in and they hit enter and it goes through a process, I don't want to be like, hey, you said ass, you know, and then have them take a snapshot of my app saying ass or something like that. So we don't need that. We don't need a headache. So we'll just be like, hey, don't use that language, and try again. Okay, so far nothing for us. All right, CodeRabbit has come back. All right, so what is CodeRabbit wants us to lean into having Zod do some more of the work. They're returning validation results integrate better with Zod's refinement system rather than throwing errors directly. Okay, so what are we saying? Okay, so there's two things I want to do. Number one, we need to update our Claude code, not our Claude, our markdown files, our indexed instructions for how we do this. All right, so this is where we're going to say, we're going to go back. All right, so we'll just take a quick look. This is the issue that it created to improve the UI error handling on our content moderation validation errors. Specific error styling. Yeah, I like that. User-friendly messaging, yes. Free is... Okay, but that's all good. All right, so we'll go through and we'll do the photo stuff later. But that's all pretty reasonable. Okay, so now let's go back. So we have a bunch of comments from, not a bunch. Actually, this is one of the less commented PRs from our 3 tools. So we're going to ask Claude, we'll go into plan mode, review all comments in this PR and decide what we should do in response to each comment. We can address the issue now, decide to never do it, or decide we should do it, but not now. If we want to save the work for later, we can create GitHub issues. Make sure the plan you build aligns with our patterns and practices defined in Claude.md. We're going to go for ultra-think on this. Use context 7. Okay, so hey there. Welcome, the Evergreen Ear. I am building Road Trip Ninja. So this is an app that as a parent, that I've wanted to have in my back pocket when I'm on a road trip with my kids. They're old now, they're in college and high school now, so this doesn't apply anymore. But this is my AI coding experiment, taking an old idea, putting it into practice. We are going to be able to, based on where you're at. So imagine you're in a car, you're driving down the road, you're going to visit your parents, your grandparents, whatever. You got the kids in the back seat. They're hungry. They got to go to the bathroom. They've been in the car for way too long. And not only do you want to get them food, but you want to get them out of the car and running around. So to be able to hit your map. So we go back. Hit your map, depending on where you are, find a highly rated item and be able to click on it and find out what all does it have. So here we can go to this park that's near us, and we're MVP mode, so we're still pretty slim, but it's got picnic tables, it's got a playground, it's got a walking trail, it's got covered parking, right? It's got all of those things. So for you to quickly see, because the number of times where you just get off an exit and your fingers are crossed and you hope that the stop actually is good. There have been many stops where like we've stopped and then we got right back on the highway and went to the next exit. So the goal is to plan this out and hope that we can give parents the capability to like make one stop and have it be a beneficial stop. So have reviews, photos, amenities, all of those things. Also, once you do decide that it's that, we aren't planning to, we aren't trying to replace Google Maps or Apple Maps. So once you decide this is the place you want to go, then you just hit this and it'll open up in your app and you can map your directions. Again, we aren't trying to replace those things. We're trying to augment. So okay, let's see. Let's see what Claude says about all the PR comments. This is one thing where I haven't figured out the right prompting for this yet, because there's a lot of times where it doesn't hit every PR comment. So we'll see how it does. Schema level tests, missing integration tests for Zod schema. Yes. Clean up unused validation, content function. Okay, I'm not sure I'm totally down with all of this. I'm going to go back and look at the PR because I'm actually feeling pretty solid with what we have. So I might be the. Yeah, so regarding your question, Evergreen here, about is the data user generated? I'm starting with a plan to have it all be user generated data. We are, whenever you add a location, here, I'll show you real quick. So if we go back to the map and we, say we're driving map mode and we want to add a location. So if we go, let me find something that I know is, so I believe this is, whenever we select whenever we select a location, we take those coordinates and we make a call to go get the business data that is out there so that we aren't asking users to type everything in. So it's a little bit of both. I didn't want to like pre-populate with everything because I only want it to be, I didn't want a lot of noise, right? I just wanted it to be the stops that people found valuable. So a bit of an uphill climb in getting people to create all of the locations, but I've tried to make the location creation as easy as possible. So now we have this location here. It's gray because it doesn't have any ratings. I've actually been there. This is a fantastic place, so I'm going to give it a rating. First review, this is a 5-star. Free and fantastic. So I have also, you can specify the ages of your kids so that future filtering that we can do, you can say, hey, find me all the 5-star things for kids that were my age, because not everything's appropriate for everybody. So now if we go back to the map mode, we'll see that this is now 5-star with 1 review. So what, this Barnes and Noble over here? Oh, Village Draft House. Okay. Yeah, so that's still a question mark. So yeah, so that's the theory. All right, I'm going to check out these comments again really quick. Claude likes it. Okay, we talked about this. We don't want to do either of those. Copilot. We talked about this. We don't want to do that because we don't want to have to manage. Well, actually, that's actually a pretty good plan. So what's Claude saying about this one? So yeah, so this is the thing that I mentioned where it doesn't dang it. Yeah, it's not addressing this issue. Like this issue is pretty decent. Let's build a moderate string method that wraps all this up so that we can use it consistently. I actually want to do that one from thanks, Evergreen Ear. Thanks for stopping by. I'll be on again. Don't worry. And enjoy the sleep. So interesting that it's complaining about this, but it's not. Actually, I want to look this up. Oops. See how it tells you to use it. Yeah, see, it doesn't. I don't like that response from. Okay, here's the deal. We're gonna the one that I like. What I think we should do. I like this issue from Copilot so far. That's gonna be I think that's gonna be the only one that we take. So we're gonna copy the link to this. And I'm gonna go back. Say, no, I don't like your plan. After looking at the comments, this is the only one I want to address because it simplifies our code. So there's that link. Also, to update the plan with this one change and build a plan to update our Claude.md and child docs with details on how and when we should be moderating strings so that we can be consistent in the future. Okay. So we'll let that go. Let that do its thing. Interesting. I wonder if it's why it's struggling to get that. All right. It is not pulling the right. We take this. Copilot comment on content moderation issue. Isn't used anywhere. Remove the unused function. There is one other thing from Copilot that I think adds value. Here is the comment. Yeah, because I do think this one makes sense. I do think this one, again, if we can make it simple where whenever we need to moderate a string, we just call the moderate string. Then Zod. So I think that's good. So we'll get this plan defined, good to go. Then we'll just let it fire away. Okay, here we go. So we're going to remove the unused method. We're going to create usable, reusable, moderate string, Zod helper. Yep. Update all schema usage. Yes. Apply to all moderated fields. Yes. Update the documentation. Yes. Content moderation. Yes. Okay. All right, that's all good stuff. I like it. All right, Claude, go do your thing, buddy. Now, interesting. Let me find it. There was while Claude's doing his thing, we're going to bring this down here. We're going to look at this. So there was a paper published today. Let me get this. Get me shared, not in front of my giant head. There was a paper published, I think, yesterday that now, granted, it's a small sample size. It's 16 developers with moderate experience. So they were tracked on AI usage and had to estimate what they thought it was getting and what they actually like, how their life changed. So they estimated that they were 20% more productive than without AI. But the actual metrics showed that they were 19% slower. And these are, moderately experienced, average of 5 years of prior experience. So not noobs, but also not super experienced, but they're in a pretty good spot. So grain of salt, right? It's 16 developers, so it's not a massive set of data. But also, one of the things I'm trying to do and prove with this video series and stream series is what exactly do you get out of using AI tools to build your products? What I found is that without a doubt, you can quickly and easily get a POC up and running and out and doing a thing. But I am, without a doubt, not confident in its capability in untrained hands to create a production grade app. It does not do a good enough job of maintaining an architectural approach across the entire app. I've had to do a lot of work over my probably 12 sessions of doing this. So I'm probably about 24 hours into working in total on this. I've probably done about 12 sessions, about 2 hours each. And I've done a lot of work corralling Claude on maintaining what our standard patterns and practices are. Put a lot of effort into the documentation that I have that I can reference, that it's actually updating right now for future use. But that is the one area where I have found that relying on AI to build you a truly production grade app without strong oversight, I don't believe we're there. We're just not. But that's okay. We're still super early. Right? This is an exciting time. Don't expect it to be magical. Know what it can do, know what it can't do, and use it effectively. Yeah, this was a good refactor using this moderated content. That's wrong how it's doing in that though. A good refactor, but I'm afraid we're a little off. Oh, we just wrapped it in the moderate content. So it's doing a little bit different. Okay. Interesting. Not exactly how I would do it, but it's also not wrong. So there's no reason for me to table flip and say like, hey, Claude, you're doing this slightly different. We're going to do all of our things. It's going to run all the tests. It's going to do all the linting, all the type checking, and make sure that we're good. So I'm not worried about it. Let me take a look at what it's done here. Okay. Again, it's not exactly how I would do it. So what you'll see, let's just take a little bit deeper look here at what I'm talking about. So the original suggestion from Copilot was refactor this method right here that we were using over and over again, this refined method that we applied to a Zod schema to validate that the content is clean. Instead of copying and pasting this everywhere, create a method called moderate string that we just wrap all that in. So anytime that we have a member of our schema that we want to moderate, make sure it's clean, we call that in one spot. What it's actually doing, and let me pull this down here, we'll get and see some of the code, make it a little bit bigger. People can see is it created this moderate content that it then wraps that Zod schema definition in. Again, not exactly how I would do it, but also not exactly wrong either. It's not the end of the world. So I'm not going to get fired up about it. All right. So it's going through, it's updating all the documentation. Again, that's a key point because with every plan that I ask it to build, I browbeat it into make sure all of your plans align with Claude.md so that we are consistent. I just include that every time. Again, this is one of those times where what I should be doing, what I see a lot of people doing, I just haven't spent the time to do it, is going and writing my own slash command, my own custom slash command to let that do its thing. So that that's just a part of every prompt that I give it. So I have my own slash command that injects that in there every time. Oh, that is gross. Yeah, so this is, dang it, this is, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, okay. So no, it's, hold on. We are getting way off course here. Your implementation implementation, if I can type implementation, is different than planned. You, 2 ones there. This was the plan. I'm gonna go back. Oops. Yeah, so this is what we were asking it to do. We were asking it to build this moderate string. Yes, that's exactly what we're trying to do. All right, so problem. I couldn't get the chaining to work properly because Z string were fine, returns odd effects type, not as odd string. So methods like min and max weren't available for chaining. Okay. Deviated from the original suggestion because it couldn't work. Correct solution, pre-moderation helper. First step. Use a builder pattern. Okay. All right. Yeah, so that was a classic. It's trying Claude's trying to do the right thing. Claude, we gave it a mission. Go put this in practice. It takes its first stab at it. It doesn't go the way it wants. And so its first reaction is like, oh, okay, let me refine. Let me refine. Very similar to a junior engineer that doesn't ask questions. That's a very dangerous situation because they can get down this dark path and spend a lot of time and energy going down a path where if they just asked, if they just said like, hey, I'm stuck, can you help me out? Then you can head that off. That's also a learning moment. So that's one of those things, again, thinking of this very much like a junior engineer that's a member of your team. That's the approach you've got to take, because otherwise it will go down this path just as we saw where I had to slam on the brakes like, whoa, dude, you got to stop. We're getting off base. We lost track of what we were trying to do, and we just were making a bad thing worse. And that's, again, that is just an experience thing, right? And that's one of those, we've I know I was there. We've all been there as junior engineers or something like that. You're trying to prove yourself, and so something doesn't go right. You just keep hammering away and hammering away. And sometimes the best thing you can do is just like raise your hand and ask. Now, as a junior engineer, here's the thing. Always ask. The key is when you learn a new thing, retain it and put it in practice. If you keep coming back and asking the same question over and over again, your team starts to wonder, like, is this guy like learning? Is he figuring things out? Is he getting better? Or are we going to have to hold his hand for this every time? So as a junior engineer, that's my suggestion, is ask a ton of questions, but make sure that you take that knowledge and you try and apply it, and don't just keep coming back and asking the same questions over and over again. Then you're not retaining. And then you start to become a challenge to work with, and you start slowing the team down, and then like nobody likes that. So, but you can do that. All right, so it didn't like that. Try the moderate string approach and built this moderation refine. So is this better? I'm not sure it's better. So again, we went through all this effort because we're trying to reuse this part. So we were trying to reuse this line of code because that was just like cut and paste everywhere. And that's, you generally don't want to do that. So Copilot was like, yeah, you should probably do this. Now this was 35 minutes ago. So I've spent about 35 minutes ago trying to get this little bit to work when Copilot even itself labeled it a nitpick. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to leave it a nitpick. Although it thinks it's done. Let's see what it's come up with. Before I go crazy and abandon ship, I'm going to let it finish because we're at the finish line here. Okay, we have a little bit of redundant code in there, I think. We're going to look at this. I'll delete this. Nothing should break. Okay. So all it did was it just changed the approach. We get back, we'll look at the actual code. Change the approach to this. So you define your schema. Then our refinement, we just that's our moderation refine, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I want to run everything here. npm run format, npm run lint, npm run test, or test, npm run test. Ah, yeah, okay. So I'll test that our moderate string. Content moderation test. So that's because that's on me. I didn't delete the tests. Yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. That dude's gone. Oops. So all the describe moderate string tests are no longer needed. We run those tests. Okay, yeah, so it ran them again. They're all good since we deleted it. Check. Okay. npm run type check. Oh, good. Okay. All right, so I don't think it updated. Make sure the Claude.md and its child markdown files are up to date with our latest implementation of this. Yeah, so one of the things we did some work, updated the markdown files, then we refined it a little bit. So I want to make sure that the markdown files that are our reference, that I tell it in every prompt, whenever we're building something, that's all accurate to how we're actually doing the work now. So yeah, okay. Yeah, so it did have it some of the old way. Okay, cool. A little bit of cleanup there. We should be good after this. Yep. Okay. Who else out there is coding on a Saturday night with me? If you're in the chat and you're not only watching code, but you're writing code, drop a W in the chat. I got you. You're getting a W from me. Yeah. Saturday night coding. That's what we do. All right. So those are all updated. Okay. Commit these. Actually, let me test it. I'm the only one writing code on a Saturday night. I don't believe you. All right, let's go. Let's run some tests here. Reload. Play. Review. This is the 2-story Chick-fil-A. No, it's not. Oh, I know that one. Yeah, it's always kind of busy. Let's see. Write a review. View all reviews. Who else wrote a review? Oh, we can't write a review on that page. The drive through gets backed up a lot. This place is shitty. Invalid review data. Okay, cool. All right, so it's still working, still doing its thing. Okay. With these changes to our branch for final review. All right. Well, if you're not writing code and you're watching somebody else write code, hop in the chat. What do you think I'm missing? What do you think I overlooked? Okay. Yep. All right. So we should be good to go. We'll let it. Run the builds and all that jazz. Oh, that's the old one. Wait a minute. What did we just do? Branches ahead. Get pushed. Oh, okay. So what? You didn't push it. You just committed it. Okay. That's my fault. That's my fault. I just said commit the code. I feel like, Claude, you should have known commit and push. But that's okay. I accept it. My fault. I was not explicit enough with you. My bad. Okay. All right. So we get this done. The last piece of moderation we have to do is on the images. So just to catch everybody up, I'm not going to tackle that tonight. I just wanted to get this text moderation done. So when you add a photo, I don't like this UI, but that's okay. It works. Add a photo, take a picture of myself. Yeah. Let's say instead of a thumbs up, it was a middle finger. We should reject that. So what happens behind the scenes, and the reason you don't see it, is it gets put in a queue for manual moderation in Cloudinary, which I never, actually I said that right the first time. Cloudinary is our image storage and retrieval tool, optimization, moderation as well. So we are going to have it be auto evaluated for clean content through Cloudinary, and AWS has a service that we can do with that, where I think we get 10,000 images per month for like $10. So yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah. So let's see if we can find the right. Yeah, manual moderation. Yeah, so this one here, we give it a thumbs up. Now, what I don't have, because I'm not actually going to go through and do the manual moderation, is I don't have the webhook built, where what it can do is when you approve it in their moderation tool, it can call a webhook and go and update a status on our end that says is approved, yes. So now I have to do this by hand. So what this should be doing is it would make a call that we can then go to location photos, find this. As you see, this one here is approved. We can change this to true, save that. We go back here, we refresh. Now we have our photo, which I got to change it. I got to fix this. So, but yeah, so we're going to have that moderation be auto magic. But, all right, so let's look at build should all be green. Yep, Claude doing his thing. Okay. We're going to merge this. We can abandon ship. I'm fine with the changes. So, okay. All right. That is it for tonight. I thank you all for hanging out with me on a Saturday night, doing a little bit of Saturday night coding, just an hour. I think. Is that what we good? Yeah, we got about an hour. Yeah, about an hour. Once again, appreciate everybody swinging by, spending a little bit of your Saturday night writing some code. I'll be back at it, I don't know, next couple of days. So make sure you follow and subscribe, depending on whatever platform you're on. YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Twitch, you can subscribe if you want. Use your Amazon Prime, but at least hit the follow, so that way next time I go live, you're here. All right, everybody. Take care of yourself. Have a good Saturday night. I am going to go watch League of Legends MSI World Final.